birds all heading in a direction together. I was putting the I put that video up yesterday, and it was like Shiloh Hendrix psyop or something. And watching it back, I didn't even mention the part about it being a psyop. I think I think that everyone understands that it's all, you know, orchestrated. I mean, the chances of having two GoFundMes that are racially motivated, pitted against each other on such a large stage, I mean, the chances of that are, you know, not very good. So, I mean, I would think anyone, especially anyone that's like here, or that comes here, you know, it's all bullshit. But I don't know why they're trying to gin this up now. I mean, I got a couple ideas. I think possibly, I mean, of course they want the regular just chaos, adding to the chaos of all this stuff. But I think one thing could possibly be all the noticing that's been going on. They want the heat taken off them, you know. So they're gonna switch to this racial divide thing. But it seems like they're really pushing for some kind of civil war of some way, a racial war. Which, I mean, how would that work? It would just be a pain in the ass, is what it would be. I don't think anybody wants that, do they? I don't know. I mean, I'm trying to think logistically, how would that go? You know, black people would probably get Chicago right away. They'd get like Detroit, the places where they have a large in their centers. They'd probably shore up all their areas where they're in. But like, then what? It's just so stupid. Like, there's not enough of them. It's not very balanced. There's way more white people than black people. And many times we've seen any kind of standoff between the two. You know, I don't have to go over history. We all know how that ends. But so I don't understand but it seems they're really pushing for it, though. I don't know. There's always something like this going on, though. And again, it feeds into the fact that they just want general chaos. But this specific thing they seem to be honing in on. And I don't know where they think it's going to go or where they want it to go. But what a pain in the ass that would be. Yeah, even though it's a whole psyop and completely bullshit, what is real is the reactions from people. You know, if you look on social media to see what their reaction is from, but if that is all real, those are like actual people, you know. And it's interesting to see how someone responds to this thing. I like on X, it's just the huge topic, and there's a lot of like surprise from their end about. That's like, they're kind of shocked when people started giving money to Shiloh Hendrix, because they kind of had the idea that even if there are white people that don't like them, they would never publicly say they didn't like them. Like, because that's never really happened before. There are people that grew up, like kids at millennials and stuff, like young black people that grew up in a world where they were completely insulated from any criticism. And if you tried to say anything that would be deemed racist, I mean, you lost your social media. That's just how it was. Even on Twitter it was like that, you know. So they're seeing now for the first time the way this reaction to them, and there's a lot of shock. You know, like there's this one to count that post, like a lot of reactions to that, like he's like more black people blindsided by the hatred of those donating to Shiloh Hendrix. And there's just videos of them, like cult videos, like, you know, those ones where they just stare into the camera, TikTok style, and talk about how they just can't believe it, you know, like completely out of the blue. The funny thing about that too, a lot of them were complaining about the comments that were being left with the donations. Now, when Tarantula Head, that stabbed the kid, when his GoFundMe thing went up, there people could leave a donation in a comment, and of course it was like a lot of kill Whitey stuff and, you know, cheering him on. But when the Charlotte Hendricks one went up, they only left the comments up for one day, and then they decided they had to remove them. One day. But they left the other one up, you know, 3 weeks, because I mean, culturally, that's just how it's been, especially in the U.S. before Trump came in. It was just like you couldn't say anything. You couldn't say anything. And now with Elon Musk making Twitter a bit more free, and I still think the reason they're doing this is so people can implicate themselves. So when the next regime comes in, that is the one, they're all on the same side, right? Like Trump and his regime, same side as any Democratic regime you put in there. They're all the same people. They're just pretending to be different for our sake. What you're going to see, and what happened last time when Trump was in office, is they look for people sticking their necks out. And then when the new regime comes in, they just go and get those people. Or they, you know, hurt them in some way. Socially, or however they do it. They go after them. Because there was that point in time where they showed support. You know, any kind of thing that they interpret as support for him will now be looked at as like terrorism. So I'm sure the same thing will happen here. Like when, you know, it'll be back to normal. Because it's always that. It's just they're pretending that it's not now because they got this guy in here. It's all silliness. So I mean, but I've always been critical. So to me, it's like whatever. I'm on every list that they have anyway. I mean, I've always been kind of a diversity critic. But yeah, there are people, they want people to stick their necks out. You know, they want people to say things that they can then come after them for, you know, later. That's, at least I believe that's what it is. Because that's what we saw the first time. You know? So, yeah, it's, we've never seen something like this where people were able to openly criticize them in some way, you know, because there are people that still can't, you know, it's still socially, it's still verboten to say anything, you know. You can talk about any, you know, a lot of different people, but you can't talk about them, you know. Same thing with the hats. I mean, them and the hats are the most protected. And under them would be the LGBT people. The people they use for different propaganda, you know, because they use those groups to carry out their plans, you know. So they're soldiers, you know. So they have to protect them, you know. So, I mean, it's like, this is, for a lot of people, the only way they can register a protest in a situation like this, you know, they can give anonymously and leave a comment. It must be so liberating for some people to finally be able to say what's on their mind, you know. But it's to people like regular people, normies, they're like so surprised that they're surprised that we feel this way. And by we, I mean all white people, as I do speak for all of them. They're like, how can they not know that we feel this way? Look at their behavior, you know, the past 10 years or however many years, or, you know, since the burning of American cities. How do they not know that, you know, we feel this way? It's kind of strange. And so it's interesting to see people's take on that, on both sides, you know. Me, I've always been the same. You know, I've always had the same kind of policy. Just stay away. But, yeah, it's fun to watch. it's fun to watch people having freak out, especially the black people who they're like they can't believe it. They can't believe that someone would ever think or say, because like I said, a lot of them never heard this stuff. They've never heard anyone say anything critical about them. And there's a lot of meme stuff too. A lot of the meme, like, say it to my face and I'll kill you. It's supposed to be a joke. Like, it's a fucking meme. But I see that multiple times a day now in response to these things, like on Twitter. Like, if I was there, you would never say that. But it's like, yeah, we wouldn't. We wait till you're gone, then we say it. We don't want to get fucking heart stabbed. Funny shit, though. I'm gonna run into the Target. I'll be right back. Maybe they envision the kind of fighting that you have in, like, Middle Eastern countries, where people are just running around the streets and blowing machine gun fire off each other and stuff.
Because global
I don't know what the vision for this is. It's kind of weird. I mean, and it could also explain why they're flooding our cities with black people. We never used to see black people here, ever. It was so rare. And I was just in this little corner store that hardly anyone goes into, and there's two black people in there when I was in there. And I overheard their conversation. They weren't together, but the guy was before me. He did his thing. Usually when I'm behind a black person at a register, I'm always like, because it's usually a big thing. It was kind of like that, but not too bad. So then he's done, and she's the black girl, one's a girl, one's a guy, and she's the black girl. Hey, how you doing? Where you from? You know, just start chatting her up. He's like, I just moved here. It's like, I just moved here too. I'm thinking, well, the guy, I watched the transaction, and he had to go through a bunch of shit to find 15 cents because he didn't have any more money on his card. Didn't know if he had cash, so I don't know. He moved here because he's obviously not someone of means. And to successfully move here, you kind of have to have that, you know. But so it just tells me it was a government job, you know. So let me go over here. Where am I going? I'm going down this way. So yeah, they're still moving them in, and they're doing it in every city. So I don't know if they're filling up the cities with them because they expect the cities to be kind of the fighting areas, because it is like if you go to parts of the world between different religious sects, there's like fighting, and they're fighting all the time, you know, like I said, parts of the Middle East like that. There's just guys running machine gun battles during the day, throughout the day. So I don't know if they envision that for here, but again, even if you if they funneled they are funneling all the black people into the cities, could make the cities like that kind of thing. But there's just not enough of them to have like a real kind of war. Like, how would they? There's just not enough of them, you know. And I think, the black people especially think this, that everyone's gonna join up against Whitey, but no one else likes them. The Latinos don't like him. The Asians don't like him. You know, we just said that the other day. No one's on their side. So there's not going to be a coalition of the willing in that way. So I just don't know. I don't know what the vision for this is. But like I said, either way, it's just going to be a real pain. You know, especially someone like me, I live in... Now, years before COVID, I'd be like, I don't have to deal with any of that. But then, of course, as you all know, if you watch the channel, they started bringing them over by the thousands and thousands and thousands during COVID, and they're still bringing them in. Those two people right there. I just moved here. Yeah, me too. It's like, no one else is just them. Nobody else is moving in. You know, it's just. And then, you know, I don't know how much they're getting for government money. I know they're getting more than they did on the mainland. They're giving them more money to come over here through SSDI. But money goes fast here. Like, between me and Mia, we make pretty good money. Like, more than I would say the average American does. And I'm fucking, running skint almost all the time. Because it's so expensive to live here. So, I mean, I don't know how much money the fucking government's giving them. It must be pretty big, to be able to survive here. But then again, a lot of them seem to come and go. Like, I'll see a new group come in because I'll notice faces and stuff. And one of my friends was saying that she was saying that a lot of them go back. I don't know how the fuck they go back because it costs money to leave here too. And, I'm sure the government's not going to pay for them to go back. So, I don't know. But I do notice trends, someone noticed here. Beginning of the month, there's a lot of them out at the shops, at the stores, spending a lot of money. They go to high-end stores down on, Occultist, because they don't, what the deal is with, future planning, so they'll fucking spend all the money in, a week, and then you don't see them. Toward the end of the month, and I've talked about this before, it looks like old Waikiki. You don't have to worry about anything. No one's out there committing crime. It's just a bunch of Asian people and white people. So it's much safer because they've blown through all the money they get at the beginning of the month, So I don't know. But yeah, at the rate they filled this city up, if they're doing that in every other city, and a lot from Africa. I mean, not just the mainland. Our mainlanders that come here, but a lot of come from Africa, Haiti, stuff like that. And I don't know, maybe then, I just don't know. I don't know what the deal is with this. I got my eye on it though. It's another thing I'm seeing too, a lot of advertising geared toward our new population. The music too, whereas he said a lot of island music all the time, it's just modern hip-hop bullshit. They're playing a island song in here now, which is really nice, it's just nice, calm, ukulele music. You don't hear that anymore. I think they figure, we got rid of most of the islanders, so no one's gonna complain. And they really did, they're all gone, they're all gone. A couple here and there. Usually they have them working at the place, but they also have a lot of new arrivals working at these places as security guards or any job where someone just kind of has to stand around. They'll be working there, but I've noticed they're not there very long, and then they're gone. This is the magic guy. He's a magician. He has a magic show locally. It's at the Hilton Waikiki Beach Hotel. I'd like to check it out. He's a magician though, card tricks and stuff. I don't think he does I don't think he's a real magician. He might be a real magician. I don't know if he's one of those kind of magicians, but I don't think there's a lot of crossover there with people who do magic and also stage magic. I don't think there is. I don't think there is a lot of crossover there. But yeah, it's a funny situation. What's going on? To me, it's funny. I get a lot of I'm trolling people all the time on my fucking Twitter, and I shouldn't. Every time I go on there, when I leave there, I just don't feel good about myself, because it's not. It's not fair. It's not fair for me to match wits with some of these people. It's not right, for reasons that you probably... It's not hard, it's fucking fish in a barrel. So it's but it is funny. And as someone who's always been kind of a troll, even before it was called that, since the fucking mid-90s, not hateful, not just funny shit. I never try to make fun of someone or make them feel bad or anything like that. No bullying, nothing like that. Just stuff that's funny. The only thing is, this is a group of people that don't find anything funny at all. You gotta be real careful what you say around them all the time. And that's the thing about what's going on now. They're seeing all this stuff now, all this pushback toward them and people being honest about them, this little period here of this going on is enough to keep them angry for the next 50 years. They have long memories. I mean, they're still hung up on that thing that may or may not have happened hundreds of years ago, and that no one here had anything to do with. But we know who did. We know who did do it. But because they have the same color skin, they could just blame it on us. You know, that's how they do everything, though. That's how they do everything. There's so many, like, sometimes you hear some of them talk about it on the black side, and it's like, how the fuck do they, why, how could they possibly think this? You know, some of the ideas they have about that are just so fucking crazy. Like white guys got in these ships and they went over there and just rode around on horseback throwing nets over these noble warriors just trying to feed their family. It's like, no. Half Jews went over there and they bought people that were already slaves because the tribes would just enslave themselves. They're constantly fighting. Same thing with the Indians here, the American Indians here. They're always fighting. They were trying to kill each other all the time, you know. But over in that situation, the Jews would just pull up to the dock and they would fall all over each other to sell their own countrymen to for a little bit of silver. Like the fucking markup, the profit margin on those guys must have been unbelievable. But they would sell them to each other or keep them for themselves. And ultimately, they were brought over back then for this time right now. To have families and to multiply. And they also have the cloning center going on over there that is called Africa. Which is pretty much just, if you've ever seen the fucking Attack of the Clones, like that planet they have, that clone planet where they make the clones, that's all that place is. Mother Teresa, or Father Teresa, though she's dead, famously banned any contraception. We can't have contraception because it's against God's natural law. No, they didn't want contraception because it would cut into their work rate of making more of these people. And as they make them, they just import them all over the world. Because they have to import them. Deport. They send them all over the world. They could never get there under their own power. Even today, if it wasn't for the hats collecting and sending and shipping, how in the hell would they ever get off that continent? They couldn't. They don't make ships. They don't know how to make a boat. You know, we've seen, like, a couple of years ago, they tried to make that bridge. They'd made a bridge and they had this big dedication ceremony. And as soon as the guy stepped on it, it just went right into the ground. But they're not really good with engineering. They're good at other shit. You know, everybody's good at something. But they're not good with making things. You know? So there's no fucking way they ever would have got off that continent. Ever. We'd never see them. The hats scoop them up and they spread them all over the world. 2 scoops. Seth and John Stewart. But yeah, it's fun to watch. And of course I'm going to keep continuing to watch and enjoy. It puts a smile on my face, you know. And where it's going to end, I don't know. I don't know what they expect. I don't know what they want, like what they ultimately want. Again, what they ultimately want is chaos and stuff like that. But this specific thing, I don't know where they expect this thing to go. Like I said, there's already been enough. They've seen enough so that they're going to be mad for at least 20 more years. Like I said, they don't let things go, you know. So, who knows, you know. Thanks for popping in. Hopefully I see you again. And until the next time I do, don't blame the teacher, blame the school.